What's up out there? Stalker 2 releases on Wednesday, November 20th, and I am on board for it. I have a week off for the week of Thanksgiving here in the US, and I'm going to be playing that until Path of Exile 2 releases into beta or early access, whatever we get. Path of Exile 2 comes out on December 6th, so all of that means it's a good time to end my 325 Settlers League, and I wanted to run through all the different classes that I've tried and show a little bit of some of these builds, just briefly show off and talk about how much I liked or didn't like them, because there's some that I really liked, there's some that didn't make it out of the campaign. So I wanted to run through this, do like a big send-off. We're going to go through all the different builds. I've done videos on pretty much all of these builds except for a few, so there's nothing really exciting or brand new here, but I wanted to just do one giant roll up and pick them all off. I'm sure I'm going to be back in this league whenever we get the 326 announcement. I'll probably be back in here. Maybe I'll start some of these builds that I didn't. Maybe I'll finish some of the ones that I started. Maybe I'll start some of the ones that I didn't. Whatever, but this is a good ending point, so this is just a big blowout. That's what we're going to do here. So the whole goal that I had with this league, and you'll see that I have a bunch of different characters over here, I wanted to sit down and create my own builds from scratch, no POBs, no following somebody else. I wanted to sit down with every single ascendancy that we had, aside from the Scion. Just wasn't interested in doing that. So there's 6 different classes and 3 different ascendancies for each. And I did almost all of them. I've got a build started with all but like 3. There was only 3 of them that I actually did not start a build for. I started a lot of stuff. I started stubs for every one of them, but I ended up deleting some of these. There's 3 of them that I just flat didn't start. There's one that I did start and deleted. So maybe I'll visit those someday. And then there's some that I started and I just wasn't feeling for whatever reason. I need to pick different skills. But that was my entire goal for this league. And basically mission accomplished. So the ones we're going to start off with are the builds that I did not create or that I deleted. And that is the Shadow, the Assassin Ascendancy from the Shadow. I wanted to do something with poison on that, and I didn't get around to it. The Hierophant Templar, I did not get anything created there. And for the Ranger, I did not do anything with the Pathfinder. I just couldn't figure out what to do with that one, or nothing really grabbed me that I wanted to jump off with that one. The Hierophant I'm interested in, and the Assassin I'm definitely interested in. It's not that I'm not interested in the Pathfinder, I just couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with it. In the Marauder class, the Marauder class, there's the Berserker Ascendancy. I did start one for that. I got it, I don't know, into Act 2, 3, 4, somewhere in there. I was doing something with chain hook or whatever. It seemed interesting. Then it got kind of boring. It stalled out, and I was like, all right, delete, and I just moved on. There was a point where I deleted all this stuff. Like I had the stubs for the Assassin, Hierophant, and Pathfinder, and then what I did with the Berserker, and then I just deleted all those and moved on. So we're going to look at this one here. These are stalled out in the campaign, so I've got them out somewhere in here. And this is a witch build that we'll just go somewhere and shoot some spells off. This was the build. Is this the right one? This is the Elementalist. This is supposed to be an Elementalist. I didn't quite get that far, but this is the one that I started working on Kinetic Bolt with. So where are we at? Level 25, I think. Yeah, it's just level 25. So I started this one out with Kinetic Bolt and started working down the path with it. I really need to sit down and just rebuild this as something else. When I started this one, I saw lightning and I thought, it looks like lightning. And it was a mistake. This is an attack skill. It is not a spell. So it did give me the opportunity to go into the wand portion up here, because this is an attack, so it actually scales off of wand damage. But this build just kind of sucked, and it really didn't get very far with me, so it kind of stalled out there. Then we go over to another build that just kind of died off real quickly, and that is the Necromancer. I don't know if I actually got into the Ascendancy portion of this one or not. Apparently I didn't. What level are we? 30? We're just like, yeah. So I've not even tried for the Ascendancy on this one yet. Yeah, we'll go to the same place. We're stuck in the same spot. This one is kind of, oh yeah, I pretty much gutted this one, so I don't really have anything to show for it. I don't remember what I was doing with this one. I was trying to do something with minions. Somebody suggested that I take this is this is going to be my necromancer. Somebody suggested that I take absolution over here and use that for all the minion stuff. I may retool that into that, but whatever I was working on over here with maybe fireball, raise specter or something, I'm not sure what I was doing exactly. I have no clue, but whatever all I was doing with this one just basically stalled out. That's as far as it got. Then we're gonna look at and we're basically going in kind of order of level from lowest to highest here. So then we have a ranger build that was a warden. This one started off as Frostblade Trickster, or I'm sorry, not Trickster. It started off as Frostblade. I don't even have any of my gear on with this. I don't know where this one landed. I don't know what I was doing with this. I think this was a Frostblade at some point. I did get it into the Ascendancy, but I don't know what I was doing with this thing. I wanted to do, this is Warden, right? Yeah, so I wanted to go into this and do something with tinctures. But the tinctures just weren't really working for me, and I don't know what I ended up doing over here. I think I dumped a bunch of kinetic bolt stuff, but I'm not at the level to equip all this, so I'm not really sure what I was thinking as far as this build goes or where it ended up, but it's definitely a build that I had. Like I said, it started off as Frostblades, and then I kind of went a different direction with it. Then we have this Deadeye. Now this one is Galvanic Arrow with Shrapnel Ballista, and I had a lot of fun with this one. Yeah, we guess we can go over here. So this was the build. This is a build that I started. I think I started this right after the Necro League came out. I started this one off. I don't remember. I don't remember all the turn of events that this took, but this one started off. I think I was working with Kinetic Bolt on this one. I'm pretty sure I was, because it's got projectile stuff. All the projectile side is over here, so I thought, well, I'll just see how it looks. I ended up messing with this Galvanic Arrow. This one I don't think I've done a build on or a video for, so it was in that weird time after I started on the Necro League, and then I quit and came over here and started working on the Elementalist build. Then I tried the Kinetic Bolt over here, and it didn't work out that well, and I ended up reforging this over into Galvanic Arrow or something like that. I think that's how all this went. I thought this was a really cool build. I need to finish it. This one is actually fun, and I very much enjoyed this. I just didn't get it past the campaign. We're up here in Act 8, so it's not got too far to go. And then I ended up starting on the build that I put the video out for yesterday, which we'll talk about here in a bit. But this one was fun. I enjoyed it. I was using Artillery Ballista and Shrapnel Ballista, mainly Shrapnel Ballista. I think I was starting to work up Artillery just for like boss fights and stuff. But I do like Galvanic Arrow. It was pretty fun. And I thought I was Mana Forged Arrows with Frenzies to develop Frenzy Charges. So I may work on this build some more and put a video out at some point. It's not going to happen now, but at least I wanted to show it off. I got that one that far. I thought it was pretty cool. It's stuck in the campaign at level 58. Now, these builds were fun for a while, and then they died. These are all through the campaign, and they were fun, and then they weren't. So I League started this Caustic Arrow Trickster, and I very much liked this. I thought this was a pretty cool build. It was great up until level 87, and then it just basically stalled out. And I ended up trying to make this into something else. I don't remember what I did with it exactly, but I tried to make it into something else, and then I regret orbed out. I regret orbed out of Caustic Arrow into something else and tried to do some other bow skills. I am not good with bow skills, apparently, because I couldn't get this to do anything. And then at one point, I went through all my builds and made them work, so I restored them back to whatever state they were in when I first broke them, and I ended up rebuilding this back as this Caustic Arrow build, which has Toxic Rain and Explosive Arrow Mana Forged off of it, and I don't know what else we got on here. But this was a cool build. It's fun. It's not as fast as the one I had last League, but this did not League start very well. It dropped off like a rock. Like, it's not doing much damage at all. I don't know how to scale this. I struggled with this build quite a bit. It's definitely not a good build after I've got some of these other ones down the road. But this is a trickster build, and I did get into 3 of the ascendancy parts. Like I said, this one stalled out hard, so I at least got a trickster built up for what it's worth. And then the other shadow that I built was this saboteur. Now this one I did a video for, and I don't remember which video I did on this. This started off as a pyroclast miner, but let's see here. I ended up swapping it over to an exsanguinate miner. I didn't really get very far with it. We are level 80. Like these are all proof of concept builds. I'm just tinkering around with them, trying to see where they get, just trying to tinker around and see what I can make of it and find out which builds were fun. I enjoyed this with pyroclast. I think I need to do some other kind of miner or something like that. I did get into 3 of the ascendancy trials, so we've got some of this stuff done. I don't know where I was going for it, and actually I'm looking at this, I've still got pyromaniac on here, so that's still set up for the pyroclast mine. Even though I've swapped over to exsanguinate, I'd have to really swap that out. But I did try this. I don't know that I like saboteur all that much. I don't know that I care for the mine style all that much, where you have to throw this stuff out and then hit that to... I think I've basically got this with auto explode or something like that. I can't remember. I am. Well, whatever. I don't remember exactly what state this is, but this was fun up to a point, and then it kind of wasn't. And I think pyroclast, I got it stalled out, and then that was when I tried exsanguinate. I said, hey, this is kind of cool. And then I just kind of moved on to something else. So I've got one. It is cool. I'm not sure that I really like the ascendancy. The cool thing is that all these ones that I have through the campaign, or at least to the point where I've picked an ascendancy for them, I can always swap them out and try other skills. So like I said, once we wrap back around after Christmas and all that, and once we're getting ready for the next league, I may come back and revisit some of these and rebuild them or something. I don't know how long I'm going to hang on to these. Like when we drop off back into, when all these go into standard league or wherever they're going to go after this one's over, I think I'm going to leave them all there since they are in the state that they are. That way I can rebuild them in whatever way I see fit and try out new things. And I think I've got enough character slots for it. I'm not sure. The next one we're going to take a look at is this Juggernaut. Now, this build is in an awful state. We're not even going to go in there. It's running Consecrated Path. I have no idea where this build is. I don't even remember what I started this as, but it's not what it started as. I don't think it was an exsanguinate build. I think it was something else. I honestly don't remember what I started this as. I started retooling it as this Consecrated Path because whatever I was doing with it before was not working out and I didn't like it. So I ended up rebranding this over to something else. I made it working. Like I made sure that it all works and I could actually play with it, but it just didn't really do it for me. So I kind of abandoned it, whatever I had. It is at level 90 and we are through 1, 2, 3, 4. We're through all of the ascendancies. So whatever I had with this thing and whatever I was doing with it is gone. I may try something else. Don't know, but it's in a good spot to try something else out. It's just, that's where it's at. And then the last one of the builds that is kind of just in a weird spot is this Guardian Absolution build. Now, we did a big video for this one. This was the one that I did the series on, acts 1 through 10. I did a video for each act. And for PoE 2, I loved that concept. I loved how that worked. And that is how I think I'm going to do the first build that I go through PoE 2 with, is to record each act and release it as an episode, just like I did with this build to begin with. However, this build kind of just stalled out. It's an okay build. I don't know what the hell I was doing. I've got skeletons in here. We've got Absolution because I was picking up like some minion stuff. So I was throwing some other things in here like these minions, and I honestly don't know what I was doing with this build. Oh yeah, we've got this Guardian that pops up. Like, it was okay and it was kind of fun for a little while. It stalled out. I tried to do an ivory tower on this because I've never used an ivory tower. I think I've had one before this and now I have this one, but I've never actually like used one. So What I probably should do is take and put this over on my Trickster build and rework my Trickster and try to go into something else. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not, but at any rate, I've got this, and I'll probably pull some of the gear off of these builds when I get done with them. What else were we trying to do here? Oh yeah, the Absolution with the staff. Yeah, this build just kind of stalled out, and that was that. Let's see here. These are in order from lowest to highest, not necessarily the most fun to the least fun, or least fun to the most fun. It's just their levels, but these are the builds that I really liked a lot. I got them far enough past the campaign that I just had a blast with them, and I'm going to start with this Duelist of with my champion build. This is one that I'm working on with Kinetic Bolt, and I put a video out yesterday about this. I love this. This is kind of a fun skill. I don't know if it's going to scale up any further. What I really wanted to do with this is work on Impale. I wanted to do some more Impale stuff with this, or do Impale stuff with it. And I ended up with this Kinetic Bolt build. I ended up going through and leveling it up a few times. So whatever it was in the video, I'm now up to level 74, and I've done the Merc Lab or whatever it is. So I ended up going into Conqueror, and we've got First to Strike, Last to Fall, and Fortitude. I haven't really changed a whole lot else. I don't remember where I was going with this, or I started to go up to this up here to Overcharged, and but I was having a lot of fun with this build. He is starting to die a little bit. I know my life is very low. I probably should have twice the life that I have right now, but the amount of block that I have on this build is very nice, and I ended up picking up Divine Retribution on here like I have with the Inquisitor build that we're going to look at here in a minute. But I like this build a lot. I had a lot of fun with this. I think what I want to do is take Kinetic Bolt in this configuration and throw it on my Gladiator, which we're going to look at here in a minute. But I think I like this, but I want to try the Gladiator Ascendancy because you get all the bleed parts of the Ascendancy in there. I don't know that this fits really very well in here, but I think it might fit better over there. So I'm going to tinker with that. That might be something that I actually tinker around with whenever I come back to this. But I dug that. I had a lot of fun playing it. I'm definitely not through with it. I'm still having fun with it, but it needs to get life sorted out and all that kind of stuff. Moving on, we have an Occultist Witch. Now, this one started off as an Exsanguinate build, and I gotta say, I like this. This is, what are we using? Creeping Frost, Cold Snap, and Frost Bomb. So basically, I would drop all this stuff out and just annihilate, like avalanche or snowball everybody that's coming at me. And this has got some decent range to it. You've got some freeze to it. This was kind of in the middle of all my builds, and I know this one could be a lot better. I did get through 3 of the labs, and I think I was going to go over here for Frigid Wake. But I like this build. I want to do more with this. I had a lot of fun with it. And I think this would be one that I would honestly, maybe we could put this on. Maybe I should try to put this on my Elementalist. Maybe I should take this format here and put it on my Elementalist. This was one where I started off and I started going into the wand damage, thinking that, these spells would scale off of that. And then it's when I learned very quickly that spells do not scale off of wand damage because wands are physical, even though it's like in every other game you play, it's like you're going to use a wand to cast a spell or whatever. But at any rate, I had a lot of fun with this. This would probably be a good build to go put on my Elementalist and iterate over there. I like this. I had a lot of fun with it. It's awesome freezing enemies and just breaking them and watching them shatter into a few pieces. I liked it. I thought this was really cool. So this one's up at level 81, and I had a lot of fun with it. It started to stall out, but I was still having a lot of fun with it. Let's see here. Duelist of Gladness. This is my Gladiator. Now, this one here, I don't exactly remember what I started it as, but we are running Earthshatter of Fragility with this right now, and I don't remember what my Ascendancy looks like. I did get all my Ascendancy stuff done, so that's done. Yeah, see, I would switch this one over to Bleeding. I'm not sure what I would do with Kinetic Bolt exactly, but I've got it set. The Kinetic Bolt build is critical strikes and bleed damage because there's this node down here that gives you critical strikes against bleeding enemies. So I want to try that on this Ascendancy and see how it goes. But for whatever reason, I ended up, oh, right, I've got a Fourth Vow and an Aegis Aurora, and for whatever reason, I wanted to try those out on this build. I also had Earth Shatter of Fragility, so I kind of combined all this stuff together, and I tried to go into a lot of shield and block. That's why we have Crushing Fist. I don't know. I kind of like this build where it's at. It is currently level 81 as well. This is fun to play. I really dug this build. It makes a mess. It kills a lot of things on the screen. And I like Earth Shatter. That's a very cool skill. And this fragility part, I think I don't remember if it has more fissures or spikes or whatever. I don't remember, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun with this build. It's not necessarily as memorable as some of the other ones, like the occultist, the Creeping Frost occultist that I had. I really liked that a lot. And then the Absolution build, the Ice Crash build, and the Tectonic Slam build, those are actually all very memorable. This one was kind of one that I enjoyed playing, but I had to actually sit down and play it again because I'm like, I don't really remember what I did with this. Moving on, we have the Inquisitor, which is this Templar, and I loved this. I had an absolute blast playing this. So I actually started off with the Guardian, and someone suggested that I go do the Necromancer or what are we on? Inquisitor. Yeah, we're on Inquisitor. I remember what I'm doing here. So many different builds. They suggested that I take Absolution over to Necromancer or over to here. So I ended up coming over to here. The cool thing is I had already built the Guardian, so I had a pretty decent concept of what I wanted to do with my passive tree, and I think I followed this quite a bit, but I actually made some changes over here, and I picked up some things like Divine Retribution. I had not used Divine Retribution until I got to this build, but between Absolution, I mean, the Absolution AoE size is pretty good, pretty decent size on here, and the Divine Retribution, once I connected that on, this build just worked phenomenal. I have a lot of fun playing this. It's very enjoyable, and it just kind of annihilates things. It definitely needs a lot of work. We're still only at level 86. It could, another 9 levels would be where I normally get things for the max. And because I top out about level 95, don't usually go much further than that. But this is definitely a build that I would come back to and keep iterating on because I loved this one a lot. I had a lot of fun playing this one. And actually, now that I'm looking at these are probably even, they're not necessarily in order of worst to best, but they are kind of in that order because of the way, I got this one to level 86. The next one's going to be at level 92, and the next one's at level 96. So you can tell the ones that I played a lot more of. So unintendedly, they are working out to be kind of in the order of, least to work best. Although this champion build started out kind of late, and I'd get some updates on that. But the next one we're going to take a look at is this Slayer build. Now, Slayer build, I like Melikey a lot. This one I got up to level 92. This is running Ice Crash. We're doing some massive damage. Like, this has got some decent DPS. On the tooltip, it's showing 168. There's that thing that bounces it up for 4 seconds, or 141,000. This actually has, I think, more DPS than my Tectonic Slam Chieftain. However, there's something about this build. It's not as movable or something. Why are we not bouncing very far? I tried doing some bossing with this. Like, map bosses are fine. That wasn't a big deal. But I actually tried doing like a Maven 10 way. That might have been okay. It was more of the like the Twisted or the Formed or those kind of boss fights. That's where this one struggled, and I don't know why. I think it's mobility. I think it just doesn't move very fast and get away from things, and there's a long wind up to drop that hit down. The hit goes across the whole screen. It fills, I don't know, half or 3/4 of the screen when it goes through here, but especially as it ramps up, because I think there's some parts of the Ascendancy that it gets the AOE gets bigger as I get more endurance charges or something like that. I don't know. It does some more damage. Going through the campaign, Ice Crash just mows the campaign down. I am seriously considering league starting something like this and trying it out, because this was a lot of fun. It just mowed through the campaign. Like, this thing does some serious damage. I don't know that it ends out very well, and we're only at level 92, so there's definitely some room to grow with it. And I don't think I've gotten all my gear. No, we're still running some kind of mid gear on it. I've got Wyvern Scale here, but not here. So there could definitely be a lot better gear on this thing. But I thought Ice Crash was easy to get through the campaign. Was my Juggernaut Ice Crash? My Juggernaut might have been Ice Crash. Now that I think about it, I think my Juggernaut started off as Ice Crash, and I ended up swapping it over to here because I thought Slayer would be better, faster attack speed and stuff like that. I think that's how that went. So that's probably where it was. But I dug this. The Slayer, what do we got? I think I've got all my Ascendancies done. Yeah. So we've got Impact, Brutal Fervor, definitely got Headsman for that 20% call. I mean, this thing is a monster when you start wailing on things. It's not necessarily as good of a bosser as I'd have liked. Again, if I'd have got it to level 95, 96 or something like that, it might have been a lot better, but I enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun with it. Slayer is an awesome Ascendancy. And then finally, it's the one that I've basically spent the most time with this league, and that is my Exsanguinate Chieftain. I'm sorry, not my Exsanguinate Chieftain. I looked at the title. This is my Tectonic Slam Chieftain. This is, I think, this is the best build that I've made so far. You may look at it and think it's not that great, but this has gotten me both of my Void Stones. I've still never beat the Maven or anything higher than that, so I'm forever stuck there, I think. But that was one of the reasons that I wanted to go into creating all these builds this league, was to try to get past that. I keep trying other people's builds that I don't understand, and I wanted to really sit down and focus in on builds and learn them, and learn the passive tree a lot better, learn the ascendancies a lot better. Especially now that I can start saying, oh, this skill would be good on that ascendancy, or that skill, it'd be interesting to see what it is over there. So I love this build. This is one that I would definitely play again. I started a Volcanic Fisher Chieftain. I actually started I started to replicate this in that Necro League and then swapped over to Volcanic Fisher. I just stuck with it. I got Volcanic Fisher at one point and then just stayed with it, and I enjoyed it. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to go forward on 326. I don't know if I'm going to pick one of these and build this up as a league starter or whatever. I'm also considering doing like I did with that Necro League, and basically what I did this entire league is to just pick a class and then an ascendancy and build around that just from total scratch, iterate through it and rebuild it. I liked this format for this league. I had a lot of fun doing this. It's possible that I take one of these builds that I've already got and go forward with that. I'm completely not sure with what I want to do for 326. It's so far out, I don't even care at this point. But I do plan on taking this into Path of Exile 2. Like I said, the way I did that Absolution Guardian, I want to do my first playthrough of Path of Exile 2. So expect a series out of the whatever acts we get, and then however many classes we get and ascendancies and all that. I want to do the same thing I did for this league in Path of Exile 2, which is to take a class and an ascendancy, make a build around it, try it out, see how it goes, and then take the next class and the next ascendancy and just work through all of them. The biggest reason that I was doing all of this league is to learn how builds are put together, learn the ascendancies and the passive trees and all that, get used to the way grinding gear does everything, and to prepare for Path of Exile 2. Because as I've done all this, my plans have solidified, and that's exactly what I'm going to do with Path of Exile 2, is just kind of go get lost in it, create all these different builds. Prototyping all of this and trying this out here, basically beta testing it all throughout 325 League has been great. I've loved it. I've had a good time with it. So that's what I'm going to do continuing forward. And that is going to do it for this video. We will probably be back with some more 325 here at some point, but for the time being, I am going to sign out of 325 for a while, go enjoy some Stalker 2, and then we're on board with Path of Exile 2. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.